Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today, I want to just get very close and personal with you guys about something that I wanted to do once upon a time when I was younger. And I think it's important for me to be open and honest with you guys about this because I don't think that a whole lot of people talk about it. I've heard like bits and pieces from Francis Chan, whom, for those of you guys that are in the Christian community, or maybe you've gone to church your whole life, Francis Chan probably sounds very familiar to you. He is an ex-pastor. I don't think he's officially been a pastor for 6 or 7 years. I think now, please don't quote me if I'm wrong about this, but I believe that he stepped down from being an official pastor like back in 2017, 2018 or something like that. Maybe even before that, I'm not really sure. But, for those of you guys that have heard him speak, I mean, the guy, if I'm going to admire or respect any pastor, it's going to be Francis Chan, because that guy is hands down one of the most influential, inspirational, most humble, down-to-earth guys that you'll ever hear in your life. And he stepped down for the reason that I think that a lot of these pastors should step down, which is, the fact that people that looked up to him, people that listened to him, almost looked at this guy as though he was this godlike figure. And that really turned him off to being a pastor. And he didn't feel very comfortable continuing on this journey of being a pastor of a church. And so he stepped down, and now he's speaking at events. But I think that his story it speaks to the overall theme of, pastoral ministry, which is that it's one of the most, I think, if you really want to be honest, all you're going to get is honesty from me on here. I'm sorry. I know that you don't want to hear it. I know that what I'm about to say sounds controversial, or, probably shouldn't hit it with a 10-foot pole, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. This whole idea of being a pastor, and especially being a pastor of a megachurch, is very narcissistic, and there's really only more to gain and less to give when it comes to being a pastor. Because let's all be honest, how much of your tithes or your donations actually goes to a ministry or a cause that would actually help and benefit people? Have you really ever asked that question as you're filing your taxes every year and you're writing off your tithes to get some kind of return back? Because I know that that's part of the reason why people do it, is because you can write off, however much you give to the church every year and get some of that back. It's a tax write-off. But really ask yourself, how much of my money is actually going towards helping people? Because I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience. I've been in times in my life where I, was really struggling. And when I say struggling, I mean having $0 to my name and being very close to being homeless, and just needing some help. And it was really hard for me to get that through a church. They make you fill out a questionnaire, or just any kind of information that you can give about yourself, like, do you have a job? And if you do have a job, how much money are you bringing in every month? And I'm like, well, the whole I mean, that kind of defeats the whole purpose for why I'm going to you guys for help, right? I mean, I'm only asking for help because of a lack thereof. I mean, even like, especially in today's economy, I mean, there are people that are working 2 or 3 jobs that need additional help, because it's just so hard to keep up with rent, utilities, car payments, your phone bill, and you need any kind of help that you can get at this point, and it doesn't even matter. I mean, you could be making 6 figures and it's not enough to, it's not really enough to get you by. But anyway, I remember there being a point in time where trying to get any kind of help from the church was like pulling teeth. And it should never, ever be that way. It should never be that hard for you to get help when you need it. And it shouldn't be that hard to talk to people that are in charge about what you need and what you want to do. Because, it kind of seemed like to me like, they would just give you, like whatever, they might give you a month's rent, just so that you can get through the month. But they never really sit you down and ask you what you really want. Is there some kind of a trade that you want to get into? Are you trying to start a business? Maybe we have a couple of elders on staff that are experienced in that area to come and help you, give you words of wisdom, help you along your path. But there's never anything like that. It kind of seemed like to me like, any kind of help that they give you was like some form of control over you. Like, in order for us to subsidize your first month's rent, you have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to do what we want you to do. And I really know that there's a lot of people that really need help right now. But to be honest, I wouldn't really want that for anybody else. I mean, it really sucks to be in a position like that where, you kind of have your tail between your legs and you're at the mercy of somebody who's helping you. That's never a fun position to be in. And for anybody that's watching or is listening to this right now, just please do whatever you can to make sure that you don't ever have to do what I had to do. Which, is kind of hard to follow, given the economy that we're in right now. But the reason why I bring this up is because, there was a point in time for me when I wanted to become a pastor, and I wanted to work at a church, specifically a mega church, because, I mean, let's be honest, you were cool if you worked as a pastor at a mega church when I was younger. I mean, that was like, I mean, it's still a pretty big deal now, but back then I would say was like the mega church's heyday. I mean, mega churches were really popular back 10, 15 years ago. And, you know, when I was studying to become a pastor, you know, I thought like, you know, this will be great. You know, once I get my degree and I can start interning or working as an assistant at a church, I will really be in a position to help people or to teach people, you know, and guide other people, you know, or, you know, if I become a youth pastor, you know, I'll, you know, being somebody who struggled with depression and anxiety, suicidal thoughts, I'll be able to help younger kids that are also struggling with depression, suicidal thoughts, and anxiety. You know, at least that's what I thought at the time. But I'll be honest, even back then, there's just something about being a pastor or having the title of a pastor and having your bio on their church website that says, this is Matt Knight. He grew up in Harbor City. He went to school at Biola University and got his bachelor's there, and then he went on to this seminary, and he has all this experience, and he has all this, you know, he is so smart, he is so intelligent, and, you know, he will be able to steer you in the right direction. Even back then, as much as it sounded cool to me, it kind of, there's just something about it that didn't sit right with me. Like this whole idea of like being called, you know, pastor, whatever, you know, having pastor at the beginning of your name, and, you know, almost in a sense being placed on a pedestal, and, you know, trying to be perfect for everybody and trying to look or be a certain way, that just never really seemed genuine to me, even at that time. You know, even when I was so plugged into the church and so immersed in the church culture, I don't know, there's just something about it that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And so, you know, eventually I just dropped out of college, junior college. And I decided to do something else. I decided to go a different direction. And I wanted to create something that I think is, you know, just a much better experience for people that, you know, not that don't just want to get better, but they want to come out as their genuine self. They want to just come as you are, which I know it kind of sounds a little bit like a cliche, you know, just another one of those cliches that you hear the church throw around a lot, you know, just come as you are. But I really mean that in every sense of the word. In every sense of the word. You don't have to filter yourself. You don't have to talk a certain way. You don't have to be a certain way. Just come as you are. And I will give you guys the tools that will help you, you know, become better and become more confident in who you are and what you want to do. And if you guys think that you're ready for that, feel free to leave a comment below. Feel free to send me a DM for any information about mind, body, spirit development. And I will happily answer any questions that you guys have for me. Because I believe personally that this will be a huge game changer for our society. And we really need it. We don't need somebody with a label or title or a pastor or whatever, a doctor at the beginning of their name to help us along our way. We just need the simple things. So anyway, guys, have a great rest of your day. I love you. I'll talk to you again soon.